Welcome to Days at Dogwood Canyon, a nature podcast brought to you by Dogwood Canyon Audubon Center in Cedar Hill, Texas. This is a podcast that will take you into our 200-acre wildlife preserve in the heart of the DFW Metroplex. Take a quick weekly break with us and get outside with the fresh air, the trees, and of course, the birds. My name is Kiersten, and I'm Center Coordinator Community Programs here at Dogwood Canyon Audubon Center. Welcome, listeners, to our Days at Dogwood Canyon podcast. This is a 10-minute podcast about nature, birds, plants, and us. We will talk about how we all rely on each other to live our best lives. Today, we're talking poop. Bird poop. I can hear your eyes rolling from here, listeners. Bird poop is gross, and they always poop on my car the minute I park in the shade of a tree, like they were waiting for me to park there so they could use the restroom. Ugh. It covers the sidewalk and it stains everything white. Not to mention the acid that eats through paint and destroys precious 1,000-year-old statues. Well, all of that is true, except the waiting for you to park there thing. I'm pretty sure that's just coincidence. But bird poop is actually helping us understand our feathered friends in a way that we've never been able to in the past. So this is the scoop on poop. In the 2022 summer edition of Audubon magazine, an article titled The Scoop on Poop, written by Jenny McKee, explains how poop is helping scientists learn more about birds. So the saying goes, you are what you eat, right? That also applies to birds, and it is especially important to conservation efforts supported by National Audubon and other conservation organizations. By studying bird poop, we can get a better understanding of what birds are eating, which allows us to make more accurate conservation guidelines so that the resources birds need can be included in our conservation efforts. Those of you who have had the above described experience with bird poop hitting your car or sidewalks may be wondering, how can scientists tell anything from that white smeary mess? That is an excellent question. Scientists are doing more than just investigating with the naked eye. They are using DNA testing to discover what birds are eating. Researchers can use the DNA in bird poop to pinpoint what species of plant or animal a bird has been eating. That is amazing. So what have we learned? Let's look at a few specific examples. The red and green macaw of South America is the focus of one study. Scientists had a specific question that DNA testing was perfect for. In northern Argentina, these birds used to be widespread, and so was the piranha forest. Due to hunting, ranching, and capture for pet trade, these birds have been extirpated from this region. That means they can no longer be found in the wild there. A project aimed at re-releasing captive bred macaws to the area was proposed. But it wasn't just about the birds. It was also about reinvigorating the piranha forest. In the past, the macaws were vital to replanting the forest. They ate the fruits of the trees, and once the seed passed through the digestive tract, they, did what birds do, poop. This helped new trees to grow. What conservationists were hoping is that reintroducing the red and gold macaws to the remnants of the piranha forest would be good for them and the forest. But before this project could take off, they needed to know if these captive-born birds would eat the correct fruits to help rebuild the forest. DNA testing of their poop was the answer. Scientists released 9 individual macaws outfitted with radio tracking devices so they could be followed and observed. They watched what the birds were eating and collected poop, which was then tested for DNA to see what plants they were eating. Researchers identified 30 known plant species, and 13 of them were just what they were hoping for. Trees and plant life that will help the piranha forest rebuild. So these birds are helping bring back their own habitat. I think that is really, really cool. Another study focused on the seaside sparrow, which is found along Texas Gulf of Mexico and the eastern coast of the U.S. When this form of DNA testing was first suggested and put into practice, many people worried that we might get false data. Why is that? Well, we're testing poop, which is food that has traveled through the digestive tract where it's been broken down into usable energy. So how much, if any, DNA from the food going in the mouth is going to be present in these fecal samples? Are we missing out on important information? 8 years ago, a PhD student at Louisiana State University wanted to find out the answer to this question. She focused her study on the seaside sparrow and compared the stomach contents to the poop of 59 sparrows. She DNA tested both substances. The results were nearly identical. She was able to pinpoint the exact species of bugs and seeds the birds had eaten with both the stomach contents and the poop DNA. This proved that DNA testing bird poop was getting real results. Once again, pretty cool. This next one is a bit mind-blowing. A gentleman doing research on hummingbirds at the University of California, Davis, wanted to know which flowers the Anna's, black-chinned, and calliope hummingbirds preferred in the wild. So one way to discover that is to watch them through binoculars. But any of you that have tried that knows how quickly hummingbirds move. The other way is to DNA test their poop. This is the part that blows my mind. This guy had to collect hummingbird poop. How can you even see it? I don't know how he did it, but he collected more than 150 hummingbird poop drops from urban and rural birds. Tests revealed that all 3 species were eating very similar things. 127 different types of insects and spiders. You probably didn't even know they ate insects, but they do. And nectar from 88 different species of plants. The invertebrates were predominantly native insects, as were most of the nectars. So this underscores the importance of landscaping with native plants that offer resources for both birds and insects, since non-native ornamentals that may look pretty don't support local insects that the birds and other wildlife need. Our last project involves the Atlantic puffin. Highly endangered for many years, these lovely seabirds are making a comeback. Yay! But they are now battling food shortages due to changing ocean temperatures. For many years, Audubon's Project Puffin has watched these birds feed their young cold water fish such as hake or herring. It is easy to observe this as the puffins nest on rocky outcroppings along the Atlantic coast and waddle around with the fish dangling from their beaks. But what do the adults eat at sea during the rest of the year? This is a mystery, or it was a mystery. In 2021, a graduate student at Oregon State University gathered nearly 100 guano samples, that's another word for poop, and tested the DNA. Tests revealed that mature adults consumed 21 different fish species, way more variety than previously observed. This gives us hope for their future, because if they can eat a wide variety of fish, they may be better able to handle their changing ocean environment. So after this, let's hear it for poop, listeners. Now that you've heard what we can learn from bird poop, hopefully next time a bird blesses you with a poop package on the roof of your car, it'll hurt a little less, knowing all the information stored in that little streak of white.